Thank you for joining us again. With just 5 working days left for phasing out old 1,000, 500 and 200 Naira notes, anxious citizens at their wits' end over how to beat the deadline. The Central Bank of Nigeria remains defiant, insisting that there is no going back on the January 31st deadline, despite a motion by the 2 chambers of the National Assembly for extension. The House of Representatives and the Senate, in separate resolutions, asked CBN to extend the deadline till January 31st. Meanwhile, in a viral video, a citizen in the northern part of the country vented his anger over inability to get his old notes changed at the bank. Let's share part of the story with you.
Na yi imani da Allah, na rantse da Ubangijin da ya haliccan. Kun ga wannan kudin naira 350 ne na. Zuwa na banki uku ina so na shigar da wannan kudin tunturin dan jama'a. Bankin ma lokacin hana mutane su yi gaske. Na rantse da Allah wannan kudin wahala ne na same su, nake juya su nake samun na abinci na. In aka ce lokacin da na karɓar kuɗi yayi, na yi asara wannan kuɗi, na rantse muku da Allah ni kuma zan tafi jeji. Wallahi barawo, na rantse da Allah sai na idan baki da nafa zan kuma ba Allah ya tsine mini. To ka nemi halalinka, rana tsaka an zuwance sun tashi daga aiki sun zama takardun banza sai an koma barayi. To me a ciki? Haka kuke so? To a matsayina na matashi ko aure ba ni da shi, na dan kukuta kun san wahalar da ne na samu wannan jari. Noma ne, no kace mu koma gona, mun koma gona, mun je mun yi wahala, mun samu kuɗin, kuma gashi kuɗaɗen wannan wallahi ba zan sake zuwa bankin ce zan saka wannan kuɗin. Na rantse da Allah ba zan koma banki domin in saka kuɗi. Na ran tare da su, kuma na rantse da Allah suka koma sun ana cewa yau gashi lokaci yayi wannan kuɗin an daina karɓar sun koma takardu. Magana ta riga ta ƙare. Na rantse da Allah wallahi tallahi haɗa kayana zan yi, wallahi jeji zan ku.
Julie, this is now up to 500,000 Naira.
It's at 350,000.
Okay, 350,000. And he has worked for it legitimately.
Yes.
And he's talking about his frustration.
Yes.
To change.
To even get into the bank is
to get into the bank.
You know, I talked about the fact that in some parts of the north, because of the serious security problems that they have, there are few banks, you know, that you can use. I've talked about Borno State. There are banks in only 4 local governments out of 27, you know, and these 4 banks, 2 of them are even in the state capital. So what are we talking about? It means that you may have to travel in some cases for more than 100 kilometers to get to the nearest bank. The whole of Borno North, as big as it is, some of the biggest local governments in Nigeria are in Borno State. Local governments like Damboa, local governments like Ukawa, local governments that are really big, bigger than even some states. You have them in Borno State. A lot of these people can access the banks. Borno North, no bank. You just have banks in the municipal and in 2 communities in the whole of Borno South. That is Biu and Kwayakusa. Those are the 2 places where you have banks. The remaining banks are in the state capital. So, the whole of Borno North, Borno Central, apart from the state capital, Borno Central, no banks. Are they not human beings? What they are saying is that, okay, for the banks that are even taking money from people, you can, for no fault of theirs, they don't even have no bank account. In my village, for many years now, we've not had any bank. Because robbers continue to attack banks in the semi-urban communities. Even in places like Oshun, places like Ondo North, for example, the communities around the Kare, there are no banks. You have to go to the urban center before you can use a bank. So when we talk about this, some of the people sit on social media and say absolute rubbish. Oh, it's because they want some particular candidates to find money to use in during election. They don't go out. You need to go to the north. You don't even know Nigeria enough. You sit in Lagos, you know next to nothing about communities outside of Lagos. You are ignorant even about your own country. The bulk of the business that we do in our country is in the rural areas, rural communities, farming. Look at the contribution of farming to our GDP. A lot of these people in those communities, they don't even use the banks. People come, transfer their business. As long as they are making money, they are happy. Now you are saying anybody that you must take money from must be somebody who has a bank account, and that a person that is easily, that you can identify with the documents and all that. How about people who don't have bank accounts? Do they not deserve to change their money? Now, the problem even now is that in many ATM galleries, you find that only a few of the ATM points are actually dispensing money.
Like 2 will be dispensing the new currency, and they won't dispense more than 20,000, 40,000.
No, some not even dispensing at all. That's the point I'm making. Many banks in the Zuro area, but you'll find that it's only a few of the ATM points that are actually dispensing.
Even the urban center, go on Allen now. The entire bank on Allen now.
And Emefiele sits there and is playing God before our very eyes.
Saying,
I just don't understand. Do we put people in government for the purpose of punishing the Nigerian people? Is that the whole idea? Or is that the attitude now? That whatever it is, no matter the pain that this thing has the capacity or the potential of inflicting on people, you just stand on it. In the UK, they change currency. Did they give people such a short time ceiling? They gave them 2 years. And they have, in terms of the capacity and the logistics at their disposal, you can't even compare them to Nigeria. If they can give 2 years, why are you giving our people such a short end of the stick? And then because you are CBN governor, you are now playing God. You are playing God. You are showing an arrogance that does not match your success in office.
At all.
I mean, what are we talking about?
Something.
You met Naira at a time when Naira was exchanging for the dollar at less than 200 Naira to a dollar. Where are we now? 743 Naira today. 745 to a dollar today.
To your credit.
What are we talking about? And you don't want, people are saying, look, this time is too short. The same arrogance that the Minister of Innovation was showing when we were discussing NIN in this place. We said, extend this thing. There's no, we are not going to extend. We are not going to extend. At the end of the day, when they realized that they didn't even have enough vendors and agents to push the process,
Unlimited
they
extension.
had to look for more agents, and they had to extend. Bandits are still communicating with people with their phones. So what have Nigerians gained for all the days that they had to wake up very early, sometimes 4 a.m., they've gone to line
up. They are
still
collecting ransom.
They are still being kidnapped, and the bandits have the guts to still negotiate using telephone.
Yeah.
So what is the essence of the whole thing?
Not to riot. Moji, this is your forte now. Do you have any excuse to give for God, CBN that is acting like a military general? Because this, I don't know.
You can't put me in Emefiele's corner here. Of course, I'm going to dodge because I'm also feeling the pain. It was reading out some statistics at the Monetary Policy Committee meeting yesterday. I see so much arrogance from a governor of a central bank. You want to blame your own failure on certain other things. Yeah, you say you have about 1.4 million agents all over the country. But you have even put a ceiling. I want my money, I want to spend my money. Now, some ATMs have been programmed to dispense only 2,000 Naira. And that is a fact.
Yes.
This happened to me today. I wanted money. It's saying, I put even 10,000. He said, no, you have exceeded your limit. 2,000 Naira, because he's dispensing new notes. So
that I can go around the rest of us.
I mean, these guys are not just...
You are a multi-billionaire. By the time you get there and you take
2,000 Naira.
It won't go around.
To give
this is the trick to make it go around.
And the 2,000 Naira, if you are unlucky to go to another ATM, another bank ATM, after the third 2,000, which is after 6,000 naira, you will be charged 35 naira. So I was only able to get 10,000 naira after 5 tries. And people are already complaining at my this man.
You are wasting their
time. I wasting time. 2,000. I said, well, you guys will get here. So, I mean, it is inexplicable, and I think the National Assembly should call the CBN governor to order now, because there will be chaos as from 31st of December. No, that is just the truth. We don't have enough of this money.
Did you hear what that boy said?
Yes, now.
He said if he does not find a way to change his money, he will become a kidnapper.
I mean,
he said so.
He said,
I will go into the bush and become a kidnapper.
Because
that's 300, and he swore to God.
If that is the next
thing. 350.
He said, I'm not married. This money, I toiled for it. He can't even get into the bank because the crowd is huge.
Because even now with the agents with agency banking, which the CBN introduced, and he said to the agents in the rural areas, you can exchange only 10,000. So which means it will take this guy 35 days to be exchanging 10,000, because the POS operators can only give you 10,000 per transaction, and even you must have NIN. So if this guy, because from the way this guy is talking, apparently maybe he doesn't have a bank account, because if you have a bank account, you can just go and deposit the 350,000.
He said he can't get into the bank. The chaos, the long queues.
Yeah, before we get to his turn.
So
he said he's gone to bank 3 times, and on those 3 occasions, he couldn't even get inside.
See, and you see the fraudulent nature of this new note is such that go to parties as we speak. Go to parties and where they are holding parties, you will see
new notes
yes, being sold.
Yet banks can't make the same new notes available.
Now the banks will tell you they can't pay you over the counter. You can't even get this new note now over the counter. So how do we explain this? How those people, where are they getting it from?
And the law says you cannot even trade in currency.
In currency.
So how are people getting away? There was a party I attended last weekend. They even had the temerity to go inside the hall.
Yes, now that's what they do.
And you know, in most of these ATMs, you can only find 1,000 naira notes.
Yes, those guys have 200.
All those denominations were
they have it.
So that means the cabal that gives out these new notes to currency traders is actually a cabal stronger than the one in Aso Rock.
Of course, no, that's what I mean. And you know what? If you want 200 naira notes of 20,000, they will tell you that it is 32,000 naira.
12,000?
Yes.
12,000?
Yeah, for the new notes.
Okay, I have Salu calling from Lagos.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us, Salu.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this discussion. Nigeria situation is very chaotic. I live in Surulere, Bode Thomas. I went to the bank yesterday to collect money. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
We are with you.
I went to the bank yesterday to come and collect money on Bode Thomas. Come and see the chaos.
Bode Thomas.
All the ATMs were not dispensing.
Bode Thomas like Island.
This is Lagos. I agree with you. This is Lagos. What happens in the rural areas? Emefiele and the government should be careful. This can be very riotous, because we are playing with people's life. I went to Apapa Road. I wanted to buy cooking gas. I cannot use my card because there was no network. So I went to the bank to collect money back to Bode Thomas. ATM not dispensing.
Oh.
Why are we putting Nigerians through all this?
I don't know.
And the same CBN will tell you not to collect old notes from the banks, yet you are giving the bank instructions not to issue out new notes. So, I mean, conflicting signals.
Across the counter.
Yeah, across the counter. Conflicting signals.
It is both chaotic to submit your old notes, as well as it is chaotic to lay your hands on the new
one.
That is the
now,
problem.
it's not as if we are criticizing this idea or policy. But given the time frame is the problem.
That is the thing. It is not my, you see, it can come up with what kinds of policies. You understand? What's it called? Cashless policy, this and that. It doesn't really bother me. But it bothers me when pain will be inflicted on the ordinary Nigerian. I travel a lot across our country. These people in government, a lot of them don't travel as much as I travel around our country. And they've not got the guts to go to some of the places that I go to. I'm not boasting. This is the reality. I feel the pain of the ordinary Nigerian. I know what the ordinary Nigerian is going through. Innocent farmers, people have gone to buy a produce from them and dumped this old nose on them. So how do they then get the banks to accept this old nose from them when it is chaotic, it is problematic in so many parts of our country?
And we have
What are we talking about?
just 6 days more.
Look at, let's give the example of Katsina, for example. You'll find that in Katsina, in the frontline states, I mean frontline local governments, where banditry is rampant, you could have 12 wards.
And Samfara.
You could have 12 wards. Out of these 12 wards, 6 are in the hands of bandits. So, what do you then do? Are the people in those places able to use banks? How will they use banks? Because banking services had been suspended in those places. So we are concerned. Nobody is saying don't come and do cashless policy. But if you want to imitate the West, advanced countries of the world, do the things that they do. The Britons came up, they changed their currency, but they gave 2 years. Said that even that old currency is still legal. If you want to change it, you can post office.
Yeah,
why do our people go to those places? They travel like aircraft. They go abroad, they see how things are done in those places, but they are reluctant to do such things in their own country.
The Bank of England just issued a notice that because of the death of Queen Elizabeth and the ascension to the throne of Prince Charles, they will be changing from the Queen's faces to the King's faces, and they are giving a notice that will start from September 30. They issued that notice about 3 weeks ago. So Emefiele was telling us yesterday at the MPC that...
No, I want to even ask you...
No, he said 90 days,
even
that we are even giving them 100 days.
Even the people's representative, the House of Representatives and
said
the
they
Senate,
want an extension
the
for
National
6 months.
Assembly,
We need more than 6 months to even
they're
do this
appealing
thing.
for a kind of extension.
Yes. So if England, that has a robust banking system, that almost everybody is in the bank, is captured in the banking system, almost everybody, or like 70 to 80% of Britons are captured
because
in the banking. Now, here we have more than 70% of our bankable population underbanked. More than 38 million people that are supposed to have bank accounts are not having bank accounts. So we are giving
and they do legitimate business.
And we are giving just 90 days. 90 days. And he said he has graciously allowed 100 days.
It's not his fault.
Now, England, where even the amount of cash in circulation in Britain is limited compared to about 3.4 trillion that we have in circulation in Nigeria. So, and his excuse is that in 5 years, the amount of currency in circulation has increased from 1.7 trillion to 3.4 trillion. What's my business with that?
He's been in office for so long. It will go down in history as the longest serving CBN governor. He's been. Why is he just doing it now? Why didn't it occur to him to have done this before now? And if you must do it, you've got to give enough time frame. As we saw with the NIN thing, logistical issues will make sure that we do not realize our aim on time. CBN officials went to Onitsha to make the traders to sensitize them. The traders told them that, look, bank staff were exploiting us. They are making money out of, they are hoarding even the new notes.
The National Assembly, they are calling for 6-month extension in all this.
Yes.
And
that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Do you see this?
I gave the example of the UK that 2 years. 2 years. So that's fair enough. So what is wrong in that? If it is not meant to inflict pain on our people. Look at somebody resident in Bode Thomas. He just told us what happened.
Yeah. Bode Thomas is just like Allen Avenue.
Yes.
He
said he wanted to buy gas. The ATM was not working.
Yes.
He went to the bank. The POS was not working. He went to the bank. POS was not dispensing. And you can't collect money across the counter. So how do you make your...
To learn to do cashless transactions in a situation whereby internet is not working.
Yes. Did I not tell you about when I went to Ilorin and I wanted to buy Pringles for my children? In the airport, the woman said, no, there has not been network today. They talk as if we have conquered all the infrastructure issues that come with this thing. Absolute rubbish that people are saying.
I don't understand.
You want to use a POS sometimes, you see that network is bad.
You know, the people making all these assertions on Twitter, and these are the same people that will be making some funny predictions because they sit on social media. Now we are
thinking
talking about
social media is a reality.
Social media is not where life is. It's a fake. It's a fake kind of.
So many people have nothing to do with social media.
If you live in Lagos or Abuja or the urban centers,
you have no problem with this.
You don't have.
You can always use your card and everything, but still
go to the rural areas. Most of us who are journalists, anytime I travel out of Lagos, downloading even ordinary picture becomes difficult for you.
Yes.
You have a story you want to upload to your listing. You will sit down on it for 10 minutes, it will be rolling.
Outside Lagos.
I had to buy, when I was in Yola, I had to buy the Airtel modem because I just couldn't
we won't be able to
function.
We won't be able to do
Habib
anything.
is calling us from Jos. Habib, how is the situation on the plateau? Hello? Hello, are you there? Habib?
It's hectic. It's very, very hectic. Babajide is saying the right thing there. And if our senators cannot push the CBN governor to do the right thing, then we will protest to the end. Because this thing is we can't even explain what is going on. People will be running. You want to buy Gary.
So you want to buy Iru or Gari or Pomo, and you'll be asking
you want to transfer this, we want to do transfer in the market.
Your Kuda account or what?
All right, we'll take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. Please stay with us.
My sister, do you know that winning an election is not only about getting the majority vote? For that your candidate to be declared winner of the election, he or she must secure 25% of the vote in 2/3 of all states plus the FCT to be president, and 25% of the vote in 2/3 of all local governments of a state to be governor. This is constitutional, and every presidential candidate has had to pass this threshold. Even governors have had to make this mark to get elected in their states. We live in one country with different languages, religions, and ethnic groups. This is why it is not enough to have only northern votes, or southern votes, or eastern votes, or western votes. The only way to get elected as president or governor is by gaining enough support across the country and states. Let us make sure that we know now so that we don't cause an issue tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO.
How important is comfort to you? Is it as important as the day you discovered that self-love is the start of good life? Here is a comfort that your self-love, Iderade, translates into your serenity. The opportunity awaits you on this peace of mind as you pay in installments of 24 months with initial deposit of 500,000 naira. Serenity at its finest.
Haruna, Bisi, Akman, Unduka, how will I want to do on election day?
On election day, I go take my PVC. When I reach where I vote to, I broom and go put my hand over for Tinubu. On election day, I go take my PVC. When I reach where I vote to, I broom and go put my hand over for Tinubu.
People of Nigeria, make we all come out on election day and vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as president. Make Nigeria for better. Make you put your hand for APC, the party where show broom. Not forget now broom you go put your hand in. Bam!
On election day, I go take my PVC. When I reach where I vote to, I broom I go put my hand over for Tinubu.
It's 30 days to the 2023 presidential and national general elections, and I still have Mojid Jamiu in the studio and Babajide Kolade Otitoju. Now, there are fears and speculations that the removal of petrol subsidy by the federal government without necessary in place will lead to serious scarcity that could lead to hike in the price of petrol to as high as 800 naira per litre. The projection is coming amid announcement by the Minister of Finance and Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, that the budgetary allocation for subsidy will end in June. Jide?
Those who are worried that petrol could sell at 800 naira per litre or more, they are genuinely worried. If aviation fuel can sell for as high as 950 naira per litre, diesel can sell for as high as 900 naira per litre. Are not subsidized. If we get to the point when the price of oil goes up significantly in the international market, once you remove subsidy, naturally the price that petrol is sold in our country will reflect the global pricing. So if it goes to like $120 per barrel, there is no way that we won't be talking about maybe about 1,000 naira per litre. That is just the thing. And the concern of the marketers is that if for any reason, marketers cannot lay their hands on Forex at the CBN window, which is just above 400 naira to $1, and they are forced to go to the black market to source for Forex.
For 700 plus.
We are talking about petrol possibly being sold at above 1,000 naira per litre. This is a possibility because look at the disparity in the two exchange windows. Today,
the CBN rates and the parallel markets.
745 here in Lagos today, the dollar in the unofficial market, 745. In the CBN window it is just over 400, not
now,
up to 500.
And now accessible.
So now if it's not accessible and people are forced to go to source for Forex on the black market, that burden will be passed on to the ordinary consumer of petroleum product. And that's when you now see the price going sky high, 800 naira per liter or more. This is it. So how do we, so the fact that removing subsidy will also comes with its own problems. And some people are wondering whether we can actually, government can live with a situation in which people are buying petrol at about 1,000 naira per liter. If you are going to Ekiti, for example, you have to put petrol in your tank. Do you know how much it will cost you to embark on such a journey? Or you are going to Kogi?
To commercial bus.
Yes, and beyond that, even other products, other goods and services, it will have a spiral effect on other goods and services. Because so we have to know what is coming, whether government can actually afford a situation in which the ordinary man buys petrol at 400 naira, at 800 naira per liter or 1,000 naira per liter. So there are some measures that have to be put in place, including for the marketers, including making money available to them, Forex available to them at the official window, which will definitely reduce the cost. But if we don't do that, and petrol, crude oil goes to like 120 per liter, and it's a possibility. We've seen that happen before, and it goes that high. Does it mean we'll be buying a 1,000? Can we live with that?
Major presidential candidates said it that they're going to remove subsidy. And if eventually they remove subsidy, a lot of people thought it was a matter of 300 naira, 400 naira before. But now reality is beckoning. Like, look, if we remove subsidy, we can't even still afford to continue to pay for that subsidy. Look at our budget for the year now. See how much we are going to use to subsidize fuel, how much we are using to service debt.
Yeah, I think it's a reality that we should all begin to live with. In December in Ghana, people revolted. They wanted their president to resign. They were calling for his head.
Where inflation is now officially over 40%.
Yes,
in Ghana.
Inflation is about 54% now. Yeah,
wow.
And the equivalent in terms of cedis, if you exchange to Naira per liter, is between 700 and 850 per liter in Ghana. Although we say, well, they are not an oil-producing country like Nigeria, although they have some crude oil. But the reality is that even in UK, where a liter of petrol used to be like 80 shillings, like 0.8 of a pound, it's now about 140 pounds, £1.40. So if you look at £1.40, convert to Naira, you'll be getting what Jide is talking about. That's above 1,000. I think we should brace up and face the reality. There is no way government can continue to subsidize. One day, this subsidy must end, because the subsidy that is supposed to be going to the masses is ending up in the pockets of some people. Some people are actually profiteering from this subsidy. In December, I went to visit a friend at a place they call Igon-Okoto in Ogun State. It's a border town between Nigeria and the Benin Republic. Igon-Okoto, for those who are conversant with that area, after Abeokuta, you get to Imashayi, from Imashayi to Igon-Okoto, from Igon-Okoto to Ayetoro. From Ayetoro, you can hear, it's like a lot of people speak French there. So you see trailers loading petrol going in the afternoon, going to Benin Republic. It's what I saw.
Smuggling.
And you see people on motorcycles carrying like 12 bags of rice. They can offload a trailer with motorcycles in less than 30 minutes. You see those motorcycles moving in with bags of rice. So
Hassan
a lot
is
of
calling
these
us.
things
Let's
are
quickly
happening.
take this call. Hassan is calling us from Lagos. Thank you for joining us, Hassan.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. The issue of oil subsidy, I don't see anything wrong in the subsidy, but I saw a lot of wrongs with the fraud that go with the subsidy. We should try and address the fraud in the subsidy. Look, the Minister of National Planning telling us now that subsidy will be removed is unsustainable. She is the Minister of Finance and National Planning. What is she planning for the economy? That is the question that should be asked. And secondly, there must be certain things in place. We are all producing company, all producing country. I see nothing why we should be suffering in this country. Let us have our refineries working. Let them go come on stream. Let us have all these modern refineries working. And it will be well with us. Good evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Hassan.
Yeah. It will be difficult for governments to face what will happen if subsidy is totally removed.
Right now.
Yeah, it will be difficult. And I think, like he said...
Because we can't predict the price.
Yeah, but no, government has 20% in Dangote refinery. And since we have crude oil, we can subsidize the crude oil that goes into Dangote refinery. Because Dangote refinery, by the time it comes, we'll have a situation that we are having with cement now, where Dangote decides the market price of cement. We have a Lafarge. Yes. So we should not expect that it's going to be El Dorado when Dangote refinery starts.
It doesn't mean that fuel prices will
come down. But it will be available. But I mean, maybe we'll be looking at about 400, 500 naira per liter, even if it is subsidized.
It is not more than that. You see, we are suffering for the visionlessness of our past leaders, of our leaders. If an individual can build a 650,000 barrels a day refinery, and one of the 10 biggest refineries in the world, not the biggest refinery as some people have been telling us, there is no reason why a government cannot build a refinery in the space of 20 plus years that we've had democracy. We've seen during that period a country like Angola build a new refinery with adopting the build, operate and transfer model. You made everything possible for him to be able to build this refinery. You provided him foreign exchange at the official window. When he needed it the most, you made it available. Why couldn't you on your own build a refinery or work with people that will build a refinery that they will run for some time and then transfer to government? That's the model all over the world. But every time we want to award contracts, for looking for funds that are not there, build, operate and transfer would find the funds that are not readily available. Because the private sector can come, put that infrastructure in place, working with government. Is that not what we've seen with the port, the new port in Lekki now? Individuals came together. The funds are simply not there. If we like, we can borrow money and use the number of years that we have left in the world as collateral. We will not be able to find enough funds to fix and freshen up infrastructure in our country. We just lost a unique opportunity because Nigerians should not have a product and still be suffering in this manner. In Thailand, they produce rice, and government also subsidizes so that the farmer does not feel discouraged. There are times when farmers would not be able to make enough money from the produce. Government steps in. So it's not as if subsidy is such a bad thing. No, The biggest problem with us, that everybody doesn't want to hear about subsidy now, is the inefficiency that has gone, that is now associated with it. People stealing money off subsidy. Today, I was look at some of the figures. 18.39 billion daily on petrol subsidy. That's crazy.
It's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. Whereas at a point, this subsidy bill was not even up to 500 billion a year.
Yeah.
Some years back, during the Jonathan years.
Yeah.
Today, look how much we are spending. So subsidy itself, nobody was complaining about subsidies some years back.
Yeah.
But today, we don't even know how much we consume. So some fat cats are somewhere simply making money off the misfortune of a country. It has to stop.
All right. We'll take our last break. When we come back, we'll talk more. Stay with us.
How important is comfort to you? Is it as important as the day you discovered that self-love is the start of good life? Here is a comfort that your self-love, Iderade, transit into your serenity. The opportunity awaits you on this peace of mind as you pay in installments of 24 months with initial deposit of 500,000 naira. Serenity at its finest.
I go take my PVC when I retire the vote. Na broom I go put my hand for Tinubu on election day. I go take my PVC when I retire the vote. Na broom I go put my hand for Tinubu.
People of Nigeria, make we all come out on election day and vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as president. Make Nigeria for better. Make you put your hand for APC, the party where show broom. Not forget now broom you go put your hand in. Bam!
On election day, I go take my PVC when I retire the vote. Na broom I go put my hand for Tinubu.
The ministry is constructing interstate and other road projects in the region to increase the number of road infrastructure and to add to the national road network. And within the period under review, a total, in terms of distance, we were talking about 102.5 kilometers and 5 number bridges. The next slide shows the various roads. There's a list of the roads, the location, state by state, the distance, and the performance level, the achievement level. Those completed, you'll say we have 100%. Those that are ongoing are at various stages of completion.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Thank you for staying with us. The National Assembly has transmitted 35 constitution amendment bills to President Muhammadu Buhari for assent. The Senate directed the clerk of the National Assembly to transmit the amendment bills to meet the requirement for assent as provided in Section 9, subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution. According to the Senate, the concerned bills have been approved by at least 24 states' houses of assembly as required by the law. A total of 44 amendment bills were considered, but 35 met the requirements. Judy?
Yes.
What's this about?
You know, this whole constitutional amendment, when you look at the Constitution, the 1999 Constitution as amended, there are all kinds of loopholes, lacunas, that people exploit. So we have to constantly look at that constitution, and in the practice of democracy, we see areas that we need to tweak, so that we can achieve the goal of real growth and development in our country. So I am personally disappointed that some of the real amendments that we expected to see happen.
Yes. The number of items
on the altar of selfishness, these rubber stamps calling themselves houses of assembly across our country, state house of assembly, they refuse to let it happen. Because you find a situation in which some houses of assembly will approve autonomy, the financial and legislative autonomy for local governments. Some states will say no. So they couldn't achieve unanimity on that matter. The issue of state police was also something that good number of the states assemblies wanted. But in the end, we couldn't get 24
out of 36.
Yes, we didn't get 24 to agree to it. We couldn't get. I don't know what the fear is about. The Deputy Senate President expressed his frustration that state assemblies frustrated the autonomy for local governments power. Because state governments, state governors,
joint accounts with the state governors
tend to dominate them. So, but in the end, I saw some of what the bills that they passed to Mr. President. Bill number 5, change of name of Egbado North and Egbado South local government areas of Ogun State. Change of name of Afikpo North and Afikpo South local government area of Ebonyi. Correction of the name of Atisbo local government area of Oyo State. Correction of name of Obiakpo local government Rivers. Financial autonomy for state legislature and state judiciary. Of course, that one concerned them. They quickly
passed it.
Yes, the removal of traditional lawmaking powers of the executive, separation of the office of the Attorney General of the Federation and the state from the office of the Minister or Commissioner for Justice. That one too had been an issue on the front burner for some time. So these are some of the ones that they readily agreed to, but Nigerians are not happy that they dropped some very salient,
the issue of autonomy, financial and legislative autonomy for local governments was considered by 27 House of Assemblies, while only 24 passed it. But even while passing it, those 24s also put a caveat that they must look at state police, state judiciary, like we have NJC. They also want a state judiciary commission that will be able to appoint chief judges for states, because now it is the NJC that still ratifies the appointment of judiciary even at the magistrate level. So they also want they want to streamline the procedure for all the orderliness of all states House of Assembly. So things that bother that has to do with them are the things they are pushing forward.
I'm afraid we have to leave it here today. Mojit, thank you for joining us, and BQ, thank you for your contribution. Up next is TVC News Countdown to the 2023 election. It's 30 days to the next general election. And that's our offering on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. I'm Ayodele Ozubaku. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.
Instant breaking news from all over the globe. Live streaming of your favorite programs delivered directly to you. Watch anytime from anywhere on your mobile or smart devices. Download the TVC News app today. Available on Google Play and Apple Store.
On the 25th of February, Nigerians will go to the polls to elect President Muhammadu Buhari's successor, as well as the 109 senators and 360 members of the House of Representatives who will make up the 10th National Assembly. On the 11th of March, 28 out of 36 states will choose their next executive governors. And the 993 members of the state houses of assembly across the country will be decided. With over 93 million registered voters, Nigeria is on course for 7 cycles of uninterrupted general elections since return of democracy in 1999. Join me on TVC News for the countdown to the February 25th national election and March 11th state election for all the updates and analysis you need to know. Every weekday at 6 p.m.
It's been 3 decades of statehood in Yobe State, coupled with steady growth and development in all areas. A decade-long Boko Haram insurgency has also hampered the steady rise to greatness in the pride of the Sahel. But it's time for continuity, consolidation, and innovation in Yobe State. Watch as Governor Mai Malabuni builds on progress made by past administrations and breaks new grounds with fresh projects and programs on Impact Yobe. Impact Yobe on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. and Thursdays 12:30 p.m. on TVC News. Join us.
In addition to its core functions, the Central Bank of Nigeria has over the years performed some major developmental roles focused on all the key sectors of the economy, including financial, agricultural, and industrial sectors.
Beyond our intervention programs, we are also working to encourage banks and financial institutions to lend from their balance sheets in order to support the growth of critical sectors of the economy, such as agri, MSMEs, and the real estate sector.
Join me, Oluyemisi Dada, as I bring to you weekly news highlights, exclusive stories, in-depth analysis of the monetary and economic policies and intervention initiatives of the Apex Bank. From the CBN, going for growth.
Housing is fundamental to the physical, mental, social well-being and quality of life. In Nigeria, a large proportion of people live in slums and unplanned settlement because of their inability to own a house or rent decent accommodation. On this program, I analyze the challenges affecting the housing sector with stakeholders to provide solutions.
70 million homes gap in 5 years.
Each episode gives an insight into the housing plight of Nigerians.
The gate man here needs a house as much as the millionaire who is driving past there needs a house.
How can the housing sector be made better? Would the dream of owning a house by an average Nigerian be achieved? What strategies are the government putting in place to provide affordable and decent housing for all? Let's bring you up to speed on the happenings in the housing sector. Keep it.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, where the black gold continues to flow and fuel Africa's largest economy, where the line between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Oil, gas, politics, development, and community issues all are highly valuable commodities in the Niger Delta. How do they combine and how can they work together to spawn a new era in the Niger Delta? As he probes deep to analyze issues in the region from angles never before explored. Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
In the month of January 2023, the 4th of January is dedicated to World Braille Day to celebrate the inventor Louis Braille. On 6th January, it will be 2 years when U.S. Capitol was attacked by the then President Donald Trump supporters. On 8th January 2020, Ukraine International Airline Flight 752 was shut down shortly after takeoff. 15th January is the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, which marks the end of the Civil War in 1970. 24th January is International Education Day. On 27th January